In this video I'm going to build unique and detailed LEGO Star Wars bases for 3 different factions, and one of them is my biggest creation yet. For a base of the remnants of the Galactic Empire, we are traveling to a planet Peridia, where Grand Admiral Thrawn and his forces were exiled. As for the minifigures I'm going to use 2 Death Troopers, 3 Night Troopers, Grand Admiral Thrawn and Lando Calrissian. As usual, for each creation I'm going to use a black frame for nicer aesthetics, on which I'm shaping the freeform style terrain using various slopes, plates, tiles and wedge plates, to create a seamless section of terrain which could be a part of a larger display. After a bit of building off camera, I finished the border portion of the build, as well as I prepared the foundation for the rest of the creation. Peridia has these really cool rock formations, which I need to translate into a LEGO form for my build, with their distinctive color palette and shaping. And I'm really happy how great they turn out, especially with bits of sand green. For the base itself I want to use a kintsugi, basically an art of repairing broken things with gold, which inspired the look of Thrawn's forces and most notably his Star Destroyer Chimera. So I'm going to build a classic light grey Imperial structures with bits of gold elements, to reflect that the exiled troopers on Peridia didn't have enough of proper resources to construct their base. On top I want to use this design for some kind of exhaust point, where I added internal assemblies using these great 1x1 pieces. Let's attach these components to the rest of the structure, and we have this really cool design with bits of gold here and there, which I'll attach to the far left side of the creation. For the main section of the base, I want to recreate this Imperial design of the entrance, so for this foundation I prepared 2 components that will allow me to create the angle I need for the front wall. For the back I made this black wall to give depth, acting as an illusion that there is more space behind the door. Let's attach additional supports to reinforce the design. On the side I'm adding this section that will give me the angle needed for the front wall, as well as it will allow me to attach rock formation to the side of the build. I'm continuing the idea of adding gold bits in between the unfinished areas. On top I'm adding next section with even more angles needed for this design, and I made this module with some vents and more golden elements that will nicely finish off the top of the base. In the meantime, I recreated the main section with these medium nougat panels that are essential for this design. I'll use some panel pieces for which I'm putting a smaller plate and tile assemblies. On top of it, I'm adding a curved section as well as this piece that has to hold the entire front panel in place. And I mirrored this design as well as I made this upper front component that will connect everything together, and it will nicely slide into place. I'm so happy how well and accurate this entrance turned out. Let's place the entire main base assembly into a previously prepared spot, and let's finish up the floor near the entrance, which I also want to make a bit unfinished. It's time to complete the upper part of terrain, while making sure that the colors and overall look will be accurate to Peridia, and it turned out great. We have still 2 awesome creations left in this video, but before that it's sweet minifigure time. I'm super happy with this build, as it's exactly what I envisioned for an Imperial Remnant Base on Peridia. I love the unique look of gold bits within the classic Imperial architecture and how it fits in with the colors of the planet. I'm really excited for the continuation of the story in Ahsoka Season 2. Next base is my biggest creation yet, and it will present First Order base on my brand new custom world Elios Prime. As for the minifigures I'm going to use, 3 fan-made First Order ARC Troopers. Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, General Hux and Lieutenant Jones, First Order Admirals, Colonels and Officers, First Order crew members and pilots, as well as various First Order Troopers. Overall 30 minifigures for this huge project. Let's start with the black frame as well as the eerie layout of the entire build. For the base section I want to use this Technic part, that by stacking on a Technic axles will create this design which is perfect for a wall with a slight angle. I used 2 of these assemblies on both sides of the front wall with the main entrance and the First Order insignia, where to finish this area I'm attaching an additional assembly of panel pieces to cover the rounded Technic connectors. For the other side I created a similar assembly, but this time with an extended connection to the other component, which will be the 2 long tubes that will nicely finish off this area, while giving the first main section an interesting and much more visually engaging look, with a bit of industrial character to the overall design. In the meantime, I completed the next section, which uses these silver pipes as the main detail with a bit of texturing on the wall. and let's attach it to the designated spot, as well as the first section next to it. Here I'm building a side entrance to the base that will connect to the future trench, and I have made a small engine component that uses silver for a color accent and slides into its spot, where it will be secured by a mirrored version that fits great together. On top of them I'll attach this assembly which uses Star Wars crates to provide a little bit of texturing. Next I'm continuing this wall design by adding this cool vent outlet which uses a ladder piece in between a wheel fork element. Then I copied this design to complete this section. To smoothly finish this wall, I'm going to use this long curved beam for both sides, and I'll just slide in the previous section in between them to secure their connections. Alright, the base is really starting to take shape, but what is such a big base without a good interior space, right? For the floor design, I'm going to use this simple assembly built in Snot technique that will give me great reflections which are accurate to the interiors of the First Order bases. This light pattern is very characteristic for Star Wars, and here First Order has it on the angled wall, that I recreated as accurately as I could in this scale by using Snot technique and a clip piece, which then I put into this wall to create a full segment. In the same style as the front entrance, I made this door which is going to be covered by the previously made front section, accompanied by a mirrored duplicate version. On top of them will be this simplistic wall panel that will lock entire thing in place. I really like how this section is coming together. Another characteristic element of First Order architecture are these high sloping wall sections. So being inspired by that, I built this section with some lights in the middle, which will form the main wall for a little armory, where to each of these exposed stats I made various elements of equipment, like these boxes, tall shelf units that will hold a wide range of items, of course you will need a ladder to get to them, as well as I made this really cool blaster rack, and our armory is almost ready, we'll add equipment later. Task for now is to create a strong platform to hold the second level of the base, and for that I created this assembly which will be essential for it, but we need to finish up the gribbling on the side. And for that I used various cool elements that are meant to form a clean and highly detailed section. Let's attach this entire component to the rest of the creation. For the first room on the upper level I want to build a section of the First Order cantina. So I made this simple shelf with some drinks and a microwave on top, which I'm going to light up from the back to better sell the effect. Let's use this wall with a bowl holder to close this room, and let's add a little container with some fruits, as well as the black assembly simulating a bigger space on the right. Since I really like how this service window looks, I decided to build my own. So let's attach the entire component into its spot, and let's add here another set of Star Wars lights, secured in a place by a simply textured wall as seen in the game. It's time to lay the floor for the entire upper level, so I invite you to the tiling time. I want to have here the main command room, so let's add some workstations with control panels. And to bring some light into the room, let's add a few windows in between the curved wall panel. On the left I will add a simply textured wall with more controls and entrance to the section with cantina. First Order's workstation has some really cool designs, and here is another one, this time at a slight angle, which will work perfectly here. So the interior is mostly ready. Of course the minifigures and other fun details we'll add later, but first let's do the roof. The first section will have a really clean design with some simple vents made by using ladder pieces on their side. As for the second section, I created this huge assembly with various mechanical components, details, gribbling, communication antenna, and even windows that will connect with the command room. Let's attach it to the rest of the base. And the main section for this creation is completed. It took hours of work, and yet there is a lot of build to be done and one really cool design. It's time for the terrain, and the primary color of Elios Prime is going to be sand green, which will be accompanied by light grey rocks scattered on the diorama. And to provide even nicer contrast, I'll add dark brown with bits of reddish brown to create an awesome color combo that is going to have one more great color in the future. In this place I will place a pathway that will lead to the main entrance of the base, and on the left let's continue the terrain's border, as well as let's begin the bigger rock formation which is going to extend across the entire left side of the creation. I'm really happy with how this rock formation turned out so far, and on top of it I added a splash of snow made entirely from smooth pieces to show that it's melting. After hours of building I finished the right side of the rock formation, which I built sideways. to create smoother transitions between the individual rock segments within the narrow section for these rocks on the build. In the meantime, I built this little generator and cooling device right beside the brook, added some plant life to the area, and I finished the pathway with stones in various sizes. Now let's tile off the front of the entrance as well as add the First Order's flags, as they really like that aesthetic. With the main entrance completed, I'm going to work on the right side, which I decided to make off camera, and I'm really happy with the shaping of the terrain and blending of colors. In the back, I built the beginning of the forest area and I prepared a trench leading into the base. For the cargo and the troopers, I want to have here a small platform with a dark red outline, similar in aesthetic to the ones on Starkiller base, which also has these awesome turrets, but they are way too big for my creation. So I shrunk down the design quite a bit, but I kept most of the important details as well as the accurate shaping and angles. Let's add both of these components into the previously prepared spot. The final color accent for Elios Prime will be the reddish brown trees with lavender leaves, that I built in 4 variants for this creation. As the First Order base is almost ready, remember that there is still one more creation after it in this video. Now it's the minifigure time. I'm incredibly happy how the First Order base on Elios Prime turned out, which is now my biggest LEGO creation and the most complex project I have done so far. I wanted to go all in for this build and push myself as an artist in every way possible, not only the size, but the attention to details, design choices, smart part usage and unique ideas. Creating a new custom world was a lot of fun, especially to have a great color palette to work with the future First Order creations. One of the main goals for this base was to have a fully fledged interior space. Starting with the side entrance from the trench that leads into the main corridor and a smaller section of the very well equipped armory, then up to the spacious command room on the second level, complete with plenty of control panels, and finally to a part of the First Order cantina on the left. So the biggest and the most detailed base interior I have done so far. The third base is going to be the interior of the Republic turret control room, and as for the minifigures I'm going to use 91st Recon Specialist Trooper, 91st Recon Clone Trooper, Phase 2 Clone Gunner and Master Yoda. I'm starting from a similar black frame foundation, on which I'm adding smaller assemblies with various gribbling patterns, which were so fun to put together while using different unusual pieces. I want this build to be very clean and simplistic, so I'm already putting tiles. Let's add bigger components which I made off camera to create the foundation for the floor as well as the future sections. It's time for some more sweet tiling time. I want to differentiate this area because this is going to be a turret station for the main cannon, so I need to make a nice floor here. And for that reason I'm going to use this simple assembly that will give me a nice texture. The idea is to use tiles laid on their side and put them in between previously shown assemblies to create fun and organized floor pattern. I'm so happy how great this turned out. Next I created this door section which uses some interesting connections to be able to recreate that classic pattern of the closed doors in Republic facilities, which will fit perfectly here. In terms of classic Star Wars designs, we have these iconic lights embedded in the wall, which I mirrored for the second panel. Let's slide them into their intended spot. Here I want to have a simple wall that will use these cupboard doors for some nice texture. On the right I'm attaching a section of the wall with opening for the cannon that is closed by a blue barrier field as seen in many Star Wars hangars. In the meantime I work on the upper sections of camera to attach the roof panel later, but first let me present you the turret which I made for this build, and it's a really fun assembly of unusual pieces with some wires sticking out, which are going to be connected to control panel and a generator. As for the roof panel, I made this big component with some additions of gribbling details on the sides for consistency of design that will connect nicely to the prepared spot, and it's time for the minifigures. I'm happy how this creation turned out, as it has that clean look I was going for, and the black framing nicely highlights the fact that this is a room within a larger space station. I'm especially happy with all these gribbles and the cannon design. If you enjoyed this video, I encourage you to check out the next one, visible on the screen. See you soon!